Namibia, 1990. Freedom after a century of control. This is Freedom Files, the untold story of how nations broke their chains. Before it was called Namibia, this land was home to ancient peoples, the San, Herero, Nama, and others, communities deeply connected to land, cattle, and survival in one of the harshest environments on Earth. In the late 1800s, European powers arrived. Germany claimed the territory and named it German Southwest Africa. What followed was not administration, it was devastation. German colonial rule brought land seizure, forced labor, and brutal repression. When the Herero and Nama peoples resisted, Germany responded with extermination. Between 1904 and 1908, tens of thousands were killed in what many historians recognize as the first genocide of the 20th century. Whole communities were erased. After World War I, Germany lost its colonies. Namibia did not become free. Instead, it was handed to South Africa under a League of Nations mandate. Control changed hands. Oppression did not. South Africa imposed its system of racial segregation, later formalized as apartheid, onto Namibia. Land was reserved for white settlers. Africans were confined to reserves. Political rights were denied. Namibia was ruled at but never consulted. Resistance grew. In 1960, a movement emerged that would define Namibia's struggle, SWAPO, the Southwest Africa People's Organization. At first, SWAPO sought peaceful change. When that failed, armed struggle began. Namibian fighters crossed borders, trained in exile, and launched guerrilla attacks against South African forces. The war spilled into neighboring Angola and became entangled in Cold War politics. For decades, Namibia became a battlefield, not just for independence but for global power struggles. Yet the people endured. International pressure mounted. The United Nations declared South Africa's occupation illegal. Sanctions increased. Negotiations slowly moved forward. Finally, after years of war, diplomacy, and exhaustion, an agreement was reached. On March 21, 1990, Namibia became independent. The South African flag came down. The Namibian flag rose. Sam Nujoma, leader of SWAPO, became the nation's first president. After more than a century of foreign rule, Namibia stood free. But freedom arrived carrying memory. Memory of genocide, memory of apartheid, memory of exile and war. Namibia's story reminds us that independence is not only about borders and flags. It is about survival. It is about dignity reclaimed after attempts to erase it. And it is about a people who refuse to disappear. Some nations fight not just for freedom, but for existence. A people who survive erasure carry freedom differently.